We're back.
We're back, baby! Part 2!
In the last episode, we saw the proverbial child of many talented cartoonists and writers come into the world. Though much like my own child, despite its good nature, I didn't particularly cherish spending time with it. However, I'm pleased to say episode 2 is an absolute improvement. So without wasting any more time, let's get into Bart the Genius. First of all, we have a new intro. It's good. You guys already know the Simpsons intro. I'm not going to talk about how mind-blowing and groundbreaking it is, but yeah, you get it. This specific version only sticks around for Series 1, but a lot of animation is reused for the following 19 series. Still got some creepy background characters though. Not gonna lie, the first time I ever saw this intro, probably when I was 7 years old or something, I was definitely fooled by this. That is what we in the biz call deceptive editing. No idea why they got rid of this Lisa segment. It's like the only time in the series when she rides a bike, I'm pretty sure. In fact, I'm pretty sure we see more characters that aren't Lisa ride Lisa's bike than Lisa riding her own bike. That's really weird. Homer almost gets hit by a car, which does beg the question, why didn't Marge slow down when she saw her husband was about to be killed? I guess we'll never know. Good couch gag. Now let's look into the actual episode. We begin with the Simpson family's resident nihilist, while the rest of the family play Scrabble. Not gonna lie, this scene is kind of a downer, but it does show Marge to be good-natured, Homer to be stupid, Lisa to be smart, and Bart to be done with life. Homer manhandles his son, which is a very healthy step towards expelling pent-up rage and aggression. I myself do the same by listening to 9 Inch Nails, but seeing as that band had literally just released their first album a few months earlier, and back then albums actually cost money, which the dirt poor millionaire Simpson family cannot afford to waste, no matter how much of a banger Head Like a Hole is, beating your son is understandable. We don't find out how the Scrabble game ends, which is good, cause I didn't care. On to Springfield Elementary now, this time in the day. Bart is fulfilling his lifelong dream of being an abstract political expressionist before the man, here often known as Martin Prince, crushes his dreams. I don't know why, but something about this image makes me feel very insignificant. Principal Skinner arrives on the scene to find Bart, Richard Lewis, and Milhouse.
Gods, what a stupid name.
I love this exchange between Martin and Skinner. It just already feels much more snappy and true to character, like what we've become used to in later series. Skinner asks to see the boy's hands. Bart has paint on his. The paint is red. He's been caught, so I guess you could say he's fucked. This also might be a reference to Full Metal Jacket, I'm not really sure. God damn, the writers really like Martin. It makes sense, he is integral to this episode and does act as the polar opposite to Bart, especially in a school setting. Edna, Crabapple, and Martin are both extremely similar to their later series counterparts, so you almost start to see the writers introducing side characters that worked well with the main Simpson family and sticking with them. This doesn't always work out for every character, so it's interesting to see how the ones that do stick around, at least for several series, basically nail their own mannerisms and behaviors from day one. You know what, so far I think Bart is the most sympathetic character, given that his teachers and father both seem to take every opportunity to crush him with facts and logic and domestic violence. All I'm saying is, if this wasn't a cartoon, it would be the darkest true-to-life dynamic a 10-year-old boy could ever experience. Also, they've been using a lot of pink and purple gradient backgrounds, which look sort of strange. You can even see it in the intro, which is used throughout the next 19 series. Just kinda weird. I'm not sure what this brain-dead child is doing. This is probably the first use of more abstract animation and storytelling as we look into Bart's mind. It's a far cry from the multiple hallucinations Homer experiences in episodes like The Last Temptations of Homer Simpson, but I enjoy it all the same. Just give me a moment to soak up all this creative goodness. I'll be so sad when it's gone forever. This also might be the first indicator that Bart has ADHD or some other medical condition like that, which the teaching staff are very quick to dismiss, which is kind of depressing. Bart really does go through some shit in this series, but boy is it fun to watch. Maybe I'm a part of the problem. But it does make sense to have all of this stuff constantly berate Bart during the beginning of this episode, so when he switches his name with Martin on the test, you don't immediately start to hate him. In fact, some might even see Bart as justified in doing this. Martin has been nothing but annoying to him so far, and forging his name and messing up Martin's test results instead of simply just copying Martin's test results, specifically to screw Martin over and have Bart advance, is a very specific and purposeful choice.
What are you looking at, Bart? Are those naughty dogs back again?
We never get closure on whether or not those naughty dogs were real, so I'll just assume they were merely a figment of Edna's imagination, brought about by a traumatic experience in childhood. It's kind of fun to see Homer appreciate Bart's work of art without realizing Bart did it, showing they're not too dissimilar. Nice. And this interaction with Homer and Skinner goes further to develop and cement each of their characters. Good visual gag. And this one's even better. And I love how Skinner's eyes change as he realizes instantly that Homer is exactly the reason why Bart is the way he is. This scene overall is just leaps and bounds above what we saw in the previous episode in terms of jokes and characterization. Whilst that first episode showed promise and potential, this one clearly delivers it. Then, short-lived side character and notable school weirdo Dr. Pryor enters. He's a total freak and I love it. He kicks off the main plot of this episode by claiming Bart's a genius. As I mentioned in the previous episode, an idea like this nowadays has been done to death. But here, right here, at this point in time, in this particular episode, it's fresh and original, if not a tad sitcom-esque. Also, what he's describing is university, but we'll have to wait several years for Lisa to do exactly that plot. I wonder if it'll be as good.
Hey now, you're an all-star.
Wow, I'm actually passing as a college student. Sign me up, Doc.
Excellent.
See, Mr. Burns, that's how you're supposed to sound. Ah yes, bacon and eggs, the most nutritious breakfast you can have. You can really tell this was the early 90s.
Frosty Krusty Flakes are what got him where he is today. It could be one of these chemicals here that makes him so smart.
I think Homer should get that lump on his neck checked out. I'd really hate for our oafish but lovable father character to die a few series into the show and be replaced with an unlikable edgelord. I like the design of the Enriched Learning Center for Gifted Children. It's different enough from the original design of Springfield Elementary without looking too wacky and unrealistic. It would really be an easy blunder to just copy the exact same design. This is also a pretty good joke, but it doesn't explain the 2 seconds of intense caressing Homer did before unclipping it. The sequence is so awkward, I love it. With Series 1 adhering to a more naturalistic look and feel, these realistic moments of cringe just work so well for the humor of the show.
Nothing wrong with a father kissing his son? I think.
Do you like children?
What do you mean?
See, that's what I mean by a different outcome later in the show. Maybe I should take back what I said about the unique design of this school, because this is exactly Edna Krabappel's voice, and the delivery is a bit stilted, like she kinda delivers certain lines, but only when the punchline comes into frame. It's just kind of awkward, but doesn't subtract from the episode overall, so I won't rant about it any longer. Homer. I was going to say they missed out on a joke related to the ancient Greek poet Homer, but they do that in the next episode, So this kid is speaking in palindromes, which is cool, but it's also really stupid because he's not even forming an actual sentence. And this other kid is just speaking backwards. You know, I don't think a school for the gifted is the proper description when half the children can't f***ing speak normally. And Ben Shapiro's daughter is dissecting a hamster just for the sheer fun of it. What kind of sick freak would do that? The nerd from Robot Chicken has a point.
Say the line, Bart!
Bart destroys the other children with facts and logic. In retaliation, the children take his food and laugh at how emotionally defeated he's become. You know, you can just say no, right?
What do you say we go out for a round of frosty chocolate milkshake?
Oh my god, he said the thing! Homer said the thing! It's also nice to see Homer being kind to his son for once. This is like the second time in the show so far. Ugh, imagine being one of those arseholes who brings an infant child to the theatre. Man, do I hate The Simpsons.
Don't spit on the floor, please use a cuspador, that's what it's for.
I think Frasier did it better.
Don't spit on the floor. Use the Gaspadora. What do you think it's for?
Also, not only are they bringing an infant child who could very well go off at any moment, but they also talk and make annoying noises through the performance. They really are the worst kinds of audience members. I'm sorry, I had to get that off my chest. However, I do endorse mockery of bullfighters. Those guys suck. Also, how did Marge manage to book box seats the same night as the performance? That doesn't really... So Bart fails to laugh at a joke, and everyone assumes he doesn't get it. I'm sick of people assuming that if you don't find something funny, you just don't get it, man. Like, maybe Rick and Morty wasn't really all that smart, and everyone just pretended it was to make themselves feel better.
Wubba-lubba-dub-dub!
Oh, yeah.
Poindexter.
You got the dud!
Hey! He looks just like you, Poindexter!
It's clear at this stage that Bart isn't finding any joy in his new environment, no matter how much his parents encourage him in their own ways. I'd also be depressed if I had to watch Persona. This scene of Bart and Homer playing is very heartwarming, if not kind of twisted that Homer was just pretending to like his son only to switch back to violence in an instant, the moment he finds out the truth. Not trying to spoil the ending or anything, just seems like some sort of severe mental and social defect. With nothing left but the love of his family to keep him sane, Bart decides to break bad.
This is not meth.
No, Bart, it's supposed to be sky blue. Though I'm not complaining if we get to see more of Dr. Pryor doing his best Mr. Burns impression. Honestly, this ploy Bart uses is actually pretty smart. Despite the constant comparison to his father, Bart does occasionally show nuanced signs of intelligence. Let's see if that continues later on. Also, Dr. Pryor is just enough of a weirdo to compare children to chimps for this plan to work. But then Bart screws himself over, because despite his rebel lifestyle, deep down he does have an honest nature. Let's see if that continues later on. Also, what's up with those orange plants? Does the fact that Bart just standing in the living room where everyone notices him for the first time mean that no one decided to pick him up? Did he walk home?
I bet Einstein turned himself all sorts of colors before he invented the light bulb.
I do like this line by Homer. Unlike later series, it isn't dwelled on for several seconds as if to say, hey everyone, Homer sure is stupid. With Bart confessing to his father in a genuine way and the swelling of the music, it's easy to see how Homer could find it in his heart to forgive his son.
I love you, Dad. And I think if something can bring us that close, it can't possibly be bad.
Why, you little...
Uh-oh.
But this is The Simpsons. We're not like other shows. I'll have to censor that. And if nothing else, Bart may not be a genius, despite what the title of this episode would have you believe, but he can still outwit his grown adult father. Good animation here as well. So that was episode 2. As I said before, this is definitely a step up from the previous episode. There are jokes in this episode that actually make me laugh, and I'm excited to continue along with the series. I don't know where Santa's little helper was this episode. It's almost as if they don't care about him anymore. Kind of sad. I hope you enjoyed this installment, and I'll probably release the next episode in a few weeks.